Have you ever known someone who can't seem to hold down a job? They get hired, things start off great, and then a few months later they quit. Again, new job, same pattern. They're always looking for something better, something different, something that finally feels right. People call them unstable, uncommitted, unable to stick with anything. But here's the truth. People who quit every job aren't just irresponsible. They're searching for something most people have given up on. And sometimes, they're running from something they haven't healed. They're chasing a version of work that doesn't drain their soul. Most people accept that work is supposed to be miserable. That's just how it is. But people who quit every job refuse to accept that. They're looking for something that doesn't make them dread Monday, something that aligns with who they are, something that feels meaningful, not just necessary. And every time a job starts feeling soul-crushing, they leave. Not because they're lazy, because they believe work shouldn't destroy your mental health, and they'd rather keep searching than settle for a life they hate. They have undiagnosed ADHD or other executive function issues. For some people, quitting isn't a choice, it's a pattern they can't control. They start strong, full of excitement and energy, but once the novelty wears off and the job becomes routine, their brain shuts down. The stimulation is gone, the motivation disappears, they can't focus, they can't perform. And instead of understanding it's a neurological issue, they blame themselves and quit. Again, they're not flaky. They're struggling with a brain that craves newness and can't sustain interest in repetitive tasks. And without proper support, they'll keep cycling through jobs, wondering why they can't just be normal. They've never found work that actually values them. Some people quit every job because they keep ending up in places that don't appreciate them. Toxic bosses, underpaid positions, environments where they're overworked and undervalued, and after a while they stop tolerating it. They realize their time and energy are worth more than a paycheck from people who treat them like they're replaceable, so they leave. Not because they can't commit, because they refuse to stay somewhere that doesn't respect them. And honestly, that's not instability, that's self-respect. They're terrified of being stuck in the wrong life. For some people, staying in a job too long feels like a trap. Like if they commit, they'll wake up 10 years later and realize they wasted their life doing something they hated. So they quit before that happens. They'd rather keep moving, keep exploring, keep trying new things than settle into comfort that feels like slow death. It's not immaturity, it's fear. Fear of becoming the person who gave up on their dreams because stability felt safer than risk. And they're willing to look unstable to avoid that fate. They've been burned by jobs that promised growth, but delivered stagnation. Some people quit because they've learned not to trust what employers promise. They take a job because they're told there's room for advancement, opportunities to learn, a path forward. But months in, they realize it was all talk. They're stuck doing the same tasks, hitting the same ceiling, watching others get promoted while they stay invisible. So they leave, because staying feels like betraying themselves. They're not job hoppers. They're people who refuse to waste years waiting for promises that were never real. They don't know what they want, so they keep trying to find it. Some people quit every job because they're still figuring out who they are. They don't have a clear career path. They don't have a passion they're chasing. They're just trying things, hoping something clicks. And when it doesn't, they move on. It's not failure, it's exploration. They're learning what they don't want, which is just as valuable as knowing what they do. And maybe one day, they'll find the thing that finally makes them want to stay. But until then, they're not going to force themselves to pretend they're happy somewhere they're not. They equate quitting with freedom, not failure. Here's the thing. Society teaches us that loyalty to a job is a virtue, that staying put is success. But people who quit every job have rejected that narrative. To them, quitting isn't giving up, it's taking control. It's saying, this isn't working for me and I'm not going to suffer just to look stable. They value freedom over security, fulfillment over consistency. And while that might look chaotic from the outside to them, it's the only way to live authentically. They're not afraid to start over. And that takes a kind of courage most people don't have. Here's what people need to understand. Not everyone is meant to stay in one job for 30 years. Not everyone finds meaning in climbing a corporate ladder. And not everyone can tolerate staying somewhere that makes them miserable just because it looks good on a resume. People who quit every job aren't broken. They're just refusing to live a life that doesn't fit. And maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe it's a system that expects everyone to function the same way, value the same things, and sacrifice their well-being for the illusion of stability. So if you're someone who quits every job, stop letting people make you feel like a failure. You're not. You're searching. You're protecting your peace. You're refusing to settle. And one day you'll find the thing that's worth staying for. And when you do, you'll know it was worth every job you left behind. If you want to understand the psychology behind people who refuse to settle, subscribe now. Because on this channel, we're celebrating the ones who choose authenticity over approval.